Hey there, you're listening to College Conversations, a podcast where two college guys talk about anything that comes to their minds. I'm Jake.
And I'm Chase. Thanks for tuning in and enjoy the episode.
Hey everyone, this is Editor Jake, coming to you from after we recorded this episode. Real quick, before you get to the podcast, I realized in post that there were a few things that we didn't give context for at the beginning. First, this format of the podcast, where we just talk about a topic, is called Rug Talk. We have plans for some other formats coming soon. Second, just to clarify, Chase and I both grew up in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, and we went to Broken Arrow Public Schools. All right, that's enough from me. Enjoy this episode. Today's topic is the history of our friendship. We figured that since a good chunk of our listeners don't necessarily know us super well, it'd be nice to go through an entire history of everything that's led up to this point with our friendship, from the very beginning all the way through now, which is about 7 years, I would say, right?
Ish, yeah.
Ish.
It's going on 8 now.
It's probably about 8 now. The reason I say 7...
I think this is the 8th year.
The reason I said 7 is because it starts in middle school. And that was about 7 years ago.
Way back when.
Way back then, in middle school. See, we actually met in 6th grade, not in band. We'll get to that later, because band is a big part of our friendship. But we actually met in a computers class in 6th grade. Do you
I would
remember
almost
that?
call it more of a typing class, because, I mean, most of the class, I think it was like 30 minutes a day, 30 minutes out of the 50 would be focused on Mavis Beacon typing.
Mavis Beacon, the full name of the program. And it was
torture.
It was a fairly archaic program, if I remember correctly.
I mean, the Mavis itself goes back to like the beginning of typing, I'm pretty sure, like on digital monitors and whatnot. But I think the Mavis, it has some more modern versions.
But we just didn't have them on the computers.
Well, I mean, that was kind of a modern version. It's just simple.
That was the modern version. It felt archaic to me. It felt like...
That's just the font that it used.
It felt like pixelated and like difficult to use, and...
I think it was like a 2010 version. So it wasn't like the newest of new, but...
It wasn't
that's
archaic.
Expensive, so...
Okay. Well, that class was a lot about typing, which I will say, I say this to a lot of people, is that the most valuable class I ever took and ever have taken up until this point was that 6th grade computers class, because it taught me how to type. You would agree?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, if you're going to learn a skill and you don't know how to touch type, that is by far one of the most useful skills to learn in this day and age, because nobody writes anymore. Like,
not a whole lot.
The skill of handwriting is lost. The only time I really write anymore is signatures, although now I'm in college, so I'm writing notes on paper and whatnot. But other than that, all of my homework and day-to-day writing has been done on the computer, and I've probably saved myself hours. At this point, probably days worth.
At least days, maybe even weeks out of your entire life just typing. Like typing instead of handwriting it out.
Right. Or hunting and pecking.
Yeah, hunting and pecking. I know some people who do that. And it's just like, it's kind of sad, But yeah, it's like so incredibly useful. The other half of that class, not quite as much. The other half was a program called Tinker. And it was basically block code, teaching you how to code using blocks instead of actual code.
I had some previous experience with block coding. I used the program called Scratch. It's
Scratch.
Pretty much overrun by furries and a lot of weird animation style things these days. But Scratch is like the OG place where you learn to code, and you can make your own little games and whatnot. And Tinker was a similar fashion, but they had different blocks. and it just felt inferior to me. But it
Well-
was an interesting.
If I remember correctly, you were the one who was helping everyone make their code work.
There was me and another kid in there that had the previous experience. And, most kids in that class did not choose to be in that class. They got shoved in there, as most kids do with any class in middle school.
Yeah. There's not too many options, so you kind of...
Right.
gotta
So
put 'em somewhere.
most kids were just kind of trudging along, and they didn't give a crap whether they passed the class or not. So the kids who actually cared and showed effort were the only ones that I would tend to help. And so I'd go around and try to explain things to them, but more often than not, I just ended up
Doing it
doing the
for them.
assignment for them.
Yeah.
And when I wasn't helping anyone else, I was just kind of building my own projects and making fancy stuff and whatnot.
Yeah. It was a fun class. Do you remember the beginning of that class? Do you remember what happened at the beginning of that class?
No, I remember very little from back then. I mean,
I
to
remember.
be honest, I don't even remember meeting you in that class. Like, I don't remember anything other than typing and helping other people.
Yeah.
No, that's a lie. I do remember one day where I have like one memory with you in it.
One memory with me.
Yeah,
in
and
it?
I think it was towards the end of class, and I don't think it had anything to do with coding, because we were doing something, and we ended up like taking a slow-mo video of it. I think it was like somebody chucking a paper ball into the trash can in the corner of the room or something.
It was probably something real dumb.
That is the only memory I have of you in that class.
I don't remember that, but I remember at the beginning of that class, this was my first impression of you. Very important things. And at the beginning of that class, the teacher there, do you remember her name? I think it was
No,
like
I don't
Heather.
remember her name because that's not what she was supposed to be teaching.
That
Like
is
she just
true.
kind of got pulled in. I think she was like a foreign language teacher or something.
Yeah, English or foreign language, something like that. But she made us put together a presentation, like a PowerPoint.
Oh, I know where this is
You
going.
know where this is going? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, you made us put together a PowerPoint to introduce ourselves to the class.
Yeah.
And I still don't understand why you did this, but
I did it because at the time I liked to end my presentations with something funny.
With silly
Usually
things.
it was some kind of meme I could find.
Okay, whatever. It still didn't, even for like middle school standards, it was kind of cringe.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I was not the most popular
You weren't the most proud of your work there.
No, I mean I was very much an awkward kid that did not belong in the spotlight.
Yeah. Well, we've been around it enough. Let me tell you what he did. He, on the end of his slide, his final slide, he had to say something to the class, I think, and he wrote, "All I have to say is carrots." And he just put a picture of carrots, and that's how he ended his slide.
Hey, as far as I'm concerned, that is peak humor. Like, I know plenty of people that would laugh at that today because it's one of those.
bad.
It's like the meme of the slice of bread falling over. It's literally so dumb that it ends up being funny. Was it funny? Not really, but it was funny enough. And I think the other reason I did it is because I didn't actually know how to end presentations. And
You know what
I
I
just
would-
kind of freaked out, and I was like, funny meme, haha.
You know what
Bye.
I used to do to end presentations? This is a kind of
What?
a sidetrack. I was one of those that put "That's all, folks" at the end of my presentations.
That's all, folks.
Yeah, I would find just the image of that and just stick it on the end to end my presentations.
Oh, you didn't even find a GIF of it or anything?
No, it's just a picture, I think.
Boo.
Yeah, that is kind of bad. I've stopped doing that. Not that I make presentations anymore, but I stopped doing that eventually. I don't know when, but yeah, that was quite a first impression of you. And you know the funniest part of that is that I think you lost points because of that. Like it
I
was
think I
graded.
did, yeah.
It was graded, and you like didn't meet a word count or something went wrong, so you actually lost points because you said carrots at the end of
don't-
your slide.
Did I lose points because it said because of the last slide, or was it just like salt in the wound?
It was because of the last slide. I remember it
I
specifically.
think it was because it was supposed to be in like a certain format. It was like a anything else that we should know about you, or like a fun fact.
Yeah, and you just said
I'm
carrots. You didn't.
notoriously terrible at fun facts about myself, so I just said carrots because, fun fact, I'm a jokester.
And,
like-
she probably would have given you the points if you said I like carrots, but the fact that you just said carrots and that's it was the part that
It
got
wouldn't
you.
have been funny. The punchline would have lost its value if I had done that. And to be honest, I really didn't like carrots that much. I just thought it was funny.
I'd have to disagree with that statement right there.
What?
It was not funny. It was not
Ow.
funny.
I thought you were about to disagree with the fact that I didn't like carrots. I was like, no, I'm pretty sure I don't like carrots.
No, I disagree that it was funny in any way. It was not funny. It was like very awkward and weird for a kid who knows that he's awkward and weird to put that on there and like think it's funny, but it was just awkward and weird. So that's my first impression of you that I remember specifically because it was very awkward and weird.
I'm going to be completely honest. I don't remember what my first impression of you was.
It must have been in that class because that's when we met.
Yeah. I mean,
But-
I think my first impression was just that because you were a quiet kid. We didn't really have any friends at that point.
No,
or
'cause
like
we were-
friends built up.
Yeah, we were fresh into
and
middle
definitely
school.
not in that class.
Yeah.
So I think my first impression of you was just that you were more of a quiet kid, and you were nice and everything. Because when I helped you with assignments and whatnot, you were one of the more intelligent people that would actually have figured some of it out and just needed a little bit of help to problem solve it. But
I'm glad I'm in the top 50% of our sixth grade computers class, at
top
least.
top 5%.
Oh, top 5%.
easily.
Ooh.
I mean, most of those kids, again, did not care, didn't do the work. They just kind of, yeah.
Yeah,
But
it is what it is.
the next class I think we had was the following semester was Spanish class. It was
And if I'm-
Spanish
yeah.
1, beginning.
Beginning Spanish 1, and if I remember right, you also don't remember me being in this class either.
Nope. I
This is
have-
Chase's famous memory at work here.
Yeah, I'm sure that'll come up plenty of times, but I have very little memory of that far back in my life. Anything that far back. I mean, the active recall of anything middle school, anything sixth grade specifically.
It is pretty far back.
I remember a couple teachers, mostly because they didn't like me. The others because I didn't like them, and that's pretty much it. I don't remember much else.
And one more that we liked very much, which we'll talk about in a second. But that Spanish class was interesting. It's strange that you don't remember me in that class because we did a project together in that class, a fairly extended project. Like it took up a good chunk of our time. It was about Panama, and I don't remember much more about it. More than it was just about Panama. We had, everyone had to pick a Central American country, or maybe it was like a Spanish-speaking country or something like that. And we picked.
I think
Panama.
it was a Spanish-speaking country.
Okay, so it was like Central and South America, pretty much.
Plus Spain. Yeah.
Plus Spain, yeah. That was the map we had to choose from. And we picked Panama for whatever reason.
Panama is the coolest.
I guess.
And it was, talk about the canal. Woo.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly why we picked it, because it's like there's the canal, and that's about all that's interesting
and
about
I
Panama.
just think something is super cool about Panama. Something about it is just screams, yeah, this is cool. Do a project over it.
Yeah, let's do that one.
Yeah.
So, whatever, we did that, and it was
I
whatever.
mean, I don't remember anything from that class anyways. I just remember that a couple words that I learned from that class, and that we had to pick Spanish names out of a textbook for that class. Like there was a list of 32 Spanish names, and we each had to then relabel ourselves as another name to refer to each other, or at least she would refer to us as, which I thought that was kind of weird, but I ended up just going with the Spanish form of my middle name. So,
Which is
just Alexander to Alejandro.
Yeah.
I mean, do you even remember your Spanish name?
Yes, I do remember my Spanish name. My Spanish name was Victor.
Victor.
Victor, yeah. It was simple enough.
Victor y Alejandro.
Yeah. It was really weird that we had to pick a new name for that class. That was the weird thing. I don't know if that's standard across Spanish classes.
No, I mean, I took a Spanish class last semester and we didn't do that.
Yeah, I mean that's college though. Maybe high school, middle school is similar. Maybe that's
I have no clue.
standard. I don't know. We didn't take any other Spanish classes, mostly because we didn't need them. We had other things we wanted to do. But yeah, that was very strange. I remember we used to be able to sing our ABCs in Spanish. Do you remember that?
I still can.
I can't.
I like every now and then I'll remind myself that we used to do that and I'll try it. Although I realized recently, it took me until I took Spanish again, that every time I did it, I'd forget H. Like I would sing the alphabet, but every time I'd be like, wait a minute, I've forgotten a letter.
Isn't it Jota?
H.
Ache.
Jota was...
What's Jota?
J.
Okay.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N. I think I forgot a couple, but anyways.
You can do it, right? Huh?
If I thought about it for a second, yeah, probably.
No thinking.
Listen, I can sing my ABCs backwards while conducting better than I can sing them in Spanish. So
I believe it. And that takes us into our actual friendship, which really started in band.
which didn't actually, like, we didn't meet each other in band until 7th grade, because 6th grade band, we were separated into brass and woodwinds. I was a clarinet for the first semester and a saxophone the second. And then you just stuck with trombone the whole time.
Yes, but I didn't plan to. That's an interesting story. Do you know what instrument I actually wanted to do?
You wanted to be a French horn, right?
No.
No?
Trombone was just a filler until I could switch to percussion. I wanted to be a percussionist.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Now.
But then I was like,
I chickened out. I didn't want to do percussion.
yeah, well, I thought about it. I played for the first semester, and I was like pretty good at it for a 6th grader, you know. And the more I thought about percussion, I was like, man, I don't think I can actually do that. Like, that's more complicated than I thought it was.
Yeah, and then, you know, later in high school, you're like, man, I'm glad I didn't do percussion.
Really glad I didn't
just
do
standing
percussion.
in the back of the room counting 80 measures of rest just to get cut off.
Sometimes do nothing.
No thanks.
For those of you who do not know band very well, it is not uncommon for percussionists to set everything up for rehearsal and not play once the entire rehearsal and have to put it all up. So it's just like...
Long story short, percussion is not always a fun time.
Yeah. At least in wind band.
7th grade is when we actually got to audition into the higher level bands where the full ensemble was put together.
Yeah.
And we both made advanced band.
At our middle school, there was an advanced band and an intermediate band, and then beginning band, which was only 6th graders. And then as 7th graders, we were able to audition into the top band, which we both did, and quite a few other kids our age did
I mean,
as well.
it wasn't very uncommon to get into the advanced band.
Our band was fairly small when we were there.
It got bigger as
it did get bigger
time went on.
Yeah, but it was fairly small. And so if I remember right, our 7th grade year, it was pretty close to half and half 7th graders and 8th graders. Not exact. I think more 8th graders, but there was a good amount of 7th graders.
I'm pretty sure, if I'm remembering right, we had 3 saxophones. There were 2 altos and a tenor.
3 total?
3 total. The other alto and the tenor were 8th graders, and I was the only 7th grade saxophone player. Which later that year, I ended up, I think in the second semester for the spring concert, I ended up going
Is that
down
when you
to
switched to
Barry
Barry?
sax.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was alto, tenor, Barry.
Yeah. To help with the small low brass section that we had.
Yeah, that was a fun memory.
Playing Barry in middle
Playing
school.
Barry, and then one of the first days I had learned the part, which it wasn't a hard part.
No, it's
and
a tuba
Barry
part.
is
Like-
not at all different from alto. But I had just gotten used to it. It's probably I think a couple days in, a week in to playing Barry, and was playing the low part, and our band director was yelling at some of the low brass saying, "This guy just learned a new instrument and he can play it better than you guys can. And you've been playing your own instruments for 3 years now." That's a fond memory that I have from playing Barry. But
yeah. So band in middle school was pretty fun for us because we got to do
enjoyed it,
things. Yeah, we got to do things like all district stuff was really fun because we would, for anyone who doesn't know, all districts is, it was in middle school, was it at Union or was it?
yeah,
Yes, it was. So we would go to Union and audition to be in the all district band that was comprised of theoretically the top members of the entire district, the entire northeastern part of Oklahoma, which includes all of the Tulsa area, all of those schools, and Bartlesville and Collinsville, I think, and a few others. And so those were always really fun because we got to go spend a day doing that, audition, play our instruments, and then hopefully make it. And we both made it both years, our 7th and 8th grade year. And then we get to go to the actual all districts clinic, which was really fun. It's a long day of rehearsing with the top musicians in the district at your level. And so you get to play more challenging music than you would normally do in your band. And those were always fun concerts to do with good music, great conductors and music educators all around. It was especially fun for us because it wasn't a very large group from going from Sequoia Middle School to these auditions and to these camps.
we got to take the minibus.
Yeah, there's a tiny little Broken Arrow branded bus that our band director actually drove. He drove all 7 of us in that tiny little bus to Chick-fil-A
It was
first.
13,
It was 13.
something like that.
It was not a lot.
No.
But he would take us to Chick-fil-A in the morning before we got there, and then we'd go grab lunch with him during the lunch break, and then we'd have the concert that night. Or was it a 2-day thing? I think it was 2 days,
It was
actually.
2 days, yeah.
Okay.
It was Friday evening and then all day Saturday.
That's right. Yeah, that's
Because
right.
we'd have a rehearsal Friday evening, then we'd go back home and then meet up at Union that Saturday morning, go eat lunch, rehearse, do a few more warm-ups, go eat dinner, and then perform, I think.
Yeah.
Something like that.
And those were really fun. Those were always fun days I look forward to because it was usually most of my friends would be going to that event.
And you got to meet kids from other schools. There weren't many things that you got to do that with.
Yeah, that was cool too. Get to meet kids from other schools outside the district, but also other kids from the other middle schools that you would eventually be going to school with in high school.
Yeah, it's where I met a lot of my high school friends.
Yeah.
For the first time,
For the
anyways.
first time is at these all district camps. So those were always fond memories that I have of middle school. And also, you want to talk about the outdoor concerts that we would do?
That was probably my favorite part of middle school band was, at least for 7th grade, and I think 8th grade too, the spring concerts, we would get to play these mashups of pop songs. So I think 7th grade was Uptown Funk, there was some Coldplay, there was I'm not Pirates of the Caribbean,
Probably. I think we did some Star Wars.
some Star Wars.
Yeah.
And it was just like a bunch of
Movie
fun
songs.
to play, or at least fun to a bunch of 7th and 8th graders. Just a bunch of fun songs that we could play, and some of them actually did sound really good.
Yeah.
And my favorite is still by far the Coldplay.
You like the Coldplay one?
Oh yeah.
I remember we did Try Everything from Zootopia. Our
I
8th
hated
grade
that
year.
song.
You hated that one?
I just because of the rehearsing, and my part was so incredibly boring and repetitive.
That'll be a theme that you hear throughout this podcast. Anyways, the fun thing about these concerts was at the back of our middle school, there was this sort of big patio area with steps and everything that we could set the entire band up on, and then everyone could pull up to the parking lot and sit in their cars or bring like fold-out chairs and
Lots of lawn chairs.
Yeah, lawn chairs, sit out in the parking lot and listen to the band play outside.
I don't think it ever rained.
No, it didn't rain on us either time we did it. We did it both our 7th and 8th grade year. And so those were really fun concerts. I think one time we had to like get a bunch of clothespins and clothespin our music to our stands because it was a little windy, you know?
Yeah.
We probably did that both times out of precaution, but it was just a fun event, especially for that specific group, that specific band, those specific years. Those were some of the best years I think the program at Sequoia at least have ever seen. We would go to competitions, and we would go to one big competition each year at Frontier City. It was like a invitational sort of thing that we went to, and both times we won a pretty big award. Do you remember what it was called?
No, I just remember I got to hold the trophy, and I was super excited.
Yeah, you got to hold the trophy. I think it was Best Band of the Day or something like that.
It was something like best band of the contest or something for our like division.
Yeah. However they broke it down
whatnot.
in terms of size of school and age, we won our bracket of it both times we went 7th and 8th grade year.
I only got to hold the trophy once. I think that was 7th grade.
Yeah. Last year, our senior year of high school, we actually got to go back to Sequoia for a little bit, and we got to see those trophies again, which was pretty cool. They're pretty tall trophies, like
Probably 3 foot tall.
yeah. So they're pretty impressive trophies.
Yeah, they're one of those big trophies that you always dream of getting for whatever event you're part of. Probably the place where our friendship really started was in our 6th grade math class. We had a math class with a teacher. Her name is Mrs. Pendergraft, bless her heart. She was by far one of my favorite teachers I've ever had.
She was really great. So that class was a pretty special class as well. They had a program at our middle school where you could either you had 3 options for math, kind of. You could take the on-level math course. You could take the honors math course, or the pre-AP, or whatever they called it, the next level up math course. And then for a special few students, you got to take 2 levels up, or 2 years ahead math program. They've since stopped doing that at Broken Arrow. Yeah, they have, because those kids would have significant gaps in their knowledge and struggle. The reason that we didn't have those problems is because Ms. Pendergraft took the time to teach us the things that we needed to in a quick enough manner so that we didn't have those gaps and we didn't fall behind.
Thank you, Mrs. Pendergraft.
Yeah, for many, many, many things, but that is one of them. Thank you for making sure that we were adequately prepared to tackle anything that we needed to, honestly. This class, this special class that we got to be a part of, was like 14 people.
Oh, less than that. I think it was like you could count the number of people on your two hands.
I think it grew slowly as the years went on. That's the other thing about this class is that we moved up together through the classes, and each of the years in middle school, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, we got Miss Pendergraft each year. So she was our math teacher for 3 years straight in middle school.
She actually chose to move up with us. Like she was mostly, I think, pre-algebra and 7th grade math teacher, but she actually left those courses and specifically requested to be moved up into the higher levels of teaching math so that she could teach our class specifically, because she ended up liking us so much.
Yeah. It was a really great class of kids. A really fun class to be in. A great teacher to go along with it. She was so good at explaining these math concepts to kids in a very engaging way. And she was really great at making sure that each individual person in the class got what they needed to succeed. She got very invested in your own personal success and did whatever she could in her power to make sure that you succeeded in your own way.
Some of my favorite middle school memories came from that class, more than just because she was a great teacher, because she was a fun teacher.
She would come to class excited to teach us every day.
One of my favorite memories of all of middle school, but specifically her class, I think it was 8th grade. We were in her class, and I remember it was February because she was reading a February haiku, and for whatever reason, I was already in a giggly mood, as I often was in that class.
Because we were all such good friends with each other in that class.
We were cracking jokes and having a good time, but she was reading this February haiku, and the only thing I can remember about it is the last line was, "Wash your filthy hands." And, middle school me thought that was so funny. Obviously, it's not quite as funny without the rest of it, but it was so funny that I ended up in a laughing fit on the ground.
You were rolling.
I was rolling around.
Literally
and
rolling.
She just casually mentions, just leave him be, and,
And he'll get over it in a minute.
I'm sitting there rolling on the floor dying, and she's just like, yeah, he's fine. But, I mean, we had so many good laughs and good memories in that class. We actually just recently had a reunion with that class at Hideaway, and that was really good to see all those people again.
Yeah, that was a very special senior memory. You do a lot of memory lane tracking your senior year. That was a very special little episode of memory lane for us. Getting to meet up with her, it shows you how much of an impact that she made on us. That's almost every single person in that small group was very excited to go and just meet up with her and talk with her a little bit. Because I think she had stopped teaching at that point. She doesn't teach anymore, as far as I'm aware.
No, I think it was it the year after we left or the year after that?
I think it was the year after that.
So
it wasn't immediately.
2 years after we left was the year that she retired.
Yeah. And she had been teaching for a very long time.
20 plus years or something.
Very long time. And so I think she was about ready at that point.
We were very blessed to have been able to be taught by her.
Yeah. She impacted our lives in so many great ways, so many great memories in that class. We learned so much. The amount of learning that went on in that class was kind of crazy.
Well, kind of.
I learned. All right.
There was a group of us that would blaze through the homework and then end up playing Smash Bros. For the rest of the hour.
Well, yeah, but we still learned.
Yeah.
The thing is, we were able to learn very quickly, so we quickly absorb the information that she was giving us, and then were able to pretty quickly blaze through the work and then kind of just hang out the rest of the time, which she was cool with, which was great for us, you know?
That class actually ended up becoming our friend group that lasted all throughout middle school.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Pretty much.
It kind of died away when we went to ninth grade to the separate freshman academy. Not because of any particular reason other than that we kind of just all started going different ways. I mean, you go to a new school, you start doing different things. Like I know we kind of felt we had a little bit of a fallout just because I was so busy with doing Pride and marching band, and you weren't. I don't know what you were doing all of high school while I was in Pride.
Not a whole lot, honestly. You know, we kind of, like you said, we kind of drifted apart for a little bit during that time. We kind of started doing other things with other people a lot of times. Had different people, you know. The friend group started to split up a little bit into little pockets, and
We mostly stayed in touch, though.
What?
We mostly stayed in touch.
Yeah, we mostly stayed in touch.
You know, a lot of us would sit together at lunch.
Yeah.
I think depending on what lunch you had, first or second lunch.
Yeah, there was first, second lunch at the freshman academy. But, you know, different combinations of people in that class sometimes rubbed each other the wrong way at times. And so naturally, since we didn't have pretty much every class together like we did in middle school, we kind of moved on to our own things, as you naturally do. And I was kind of pulled away a little bit with other people for a while, doing other things. We still had band together at the freshman academy. We still did that, which kept our friendship going at a decent level. You got so busy doing Pride, we couldn't hang out too much during Pride season.
And my friend group exploded with, 300 new people
Yeah,
with marching band and whatnot.
that kind of did alienate me a tiny bit, since you knew so many of these other people, and I didn't
Yeah, I
really know
actually
any
came
of them.
into the freshman academy knowing a lot of people from the summer camp prior to that.
Yeah, and I didn't really know a whole lot of people at that point. And so we were doing that, and that cruised along steadily at a decent level until spring break of our freshman year, when a funny little thing called COVID happened and shut everything down for everyone.
Fun memories. Obviously, we don't need to go
Explain
into
why
detail
COVID,
about what happened
is
during
bad
COVID.
for school
but
and friendships, but
yeah, I'm pretty sure everyone knows what that one feels like.
yeah. And so that leads us along into the next school year. And so COVID took out the rest of that freshman year for us. We never really went back to school. A lot of weird things happened, like we didn't take finals that year because everything was online. And they set out a really weird policy where we couldn't learn anything new online. Like, they didn't allow any of the teachers to teach any new material while we were quarantined, which was a really weird policy.
It was like an emergency procedure to make sure that kids didn't fail their classes because of the harsh switch to distance learning.
Yeah, I guess.
It was still weird.
It's still weird, but what do you do? It's COVID. Like,
Right.
It would suck either way. So we were kind of stuck in the situation of, like, basically we only had busy work until the end of the year, and then we kind of just ended. We didn't take finals or anything. So it was just kind of blah, everyone was dealing with their own stuff with quarantine, of course. And that was what it was until the next year rolled around. This would be our sophomore year of high school. We came back to in person, but of course, we had to do the masks.
And there were still plenty of distance learning breaks with,
Yeah.
COVID spiking
We
and
were
whatnot.
like half on, half off, like half in person, half online for a while. An interesting, like a fun thing that I remember, not necessarily fun, but an interesting part of COVID at school was doing band during COVID. We were in the same band, I'm pretty sure, right? Yeah. Yeah. We were in SB1.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Yeah, we were both in SB1 that year, which is Symphonic Band 1. It's the second band at the Broken Arrow High School.
Which is now just symphonic band.
Yeah, they change the names of all the bands every year, but it was the second band when we were there. And the band room is luckily like big enough to where everyone could sit 6 feet apart from everyone else and
The
fit in the
weirdest
band room.
band experience you've ever had.
It's like I don't know
Instead
if-
of sitting in arcs,
Yeah,
you're just sitting in a grid.
you sit in a
6
6 by
foot
6
by 6
grid.
foot grid.
and you try and fit like how big is a wind band? Like 40 musicians,
At least.
at least 40 kids,
40 to 60, depending on the
40 to
size
60.
in high
So, like,
school.
you fit like 50 kids in a room, but they're all 6 feet apart, sitting in their own isolated chair, and a director at the front. Which luckily our band room is big enough to do that, which is kind of insane to think about.
A lot of band programs got shut down because
Yeah.
they didn't have the nicest facilities.
The facilities to do it, the infrastructure to keep doing that. Our band director told us about how they installed like ionizers into the AC vents to kill airborne quarantine or airborne COVID,
Oh, yeah.
which was interesting.
They'd go off like every hour between classes or something.
They must still be there, probably deactivated. Maybe, I don't know. That was just a weird memory that I remember.
I'm sure
like,
they're going off nightly as just a
just a sanitary thing, maybe.
disinfectant.
But apparently, up in the AC in the band room, there was like ionizing machines that they had installed that killed all airborne particles as they passed through the AC to help prevent COVID, which was interesting.
And all the brass instruments got fancy new covers on their bells.
Yeah, we got little covers that we'd put on our bells.
Saxophones almost did. We didn't have enough for them, though. Not that we actually needed them. They were just cool.
Yeah. And I'm not convinced they really worked very well.
No, but they look cool.
they did kind of look cool. I didn't really put mine on because I didn't care for it.
Shame on you.
Yeah, whatever.
Mr. Rule Breaker over here.
Yeah, my band director's gonna kill me now that now that she heard that I didn't put the little thing on my bell. We also had to do a fun little spit break, like
How the trash cans in the hallways.
If you don't know brass instruments, if you play after you play for a little bit, we call it spit, but it's not spit. It's condensation inside the instrument.
It's spit.
It's not spit.
It's spit.
It's like 10% spit and 90% just condensation. All right. And then you have to empty it with a water key, or you call it a spit valve, which, sounds gross. It's not spit, though. It's condensation.
Mm-hmm.
It does have a tiny bit of spit in it, so it's like unsanitary.
It's spit.
Well, the thing is, if you see how much spit comes out of my spit valve, I
It's
would be like
gross.
dehydrated in 5 minutes because so much comes out of my spit valve. Anyways, so you have to empty that like fairly frequently during a band rehearsal. And so since that is unsanitary with COVID, you had to like get up from your seat and walk outside of the band room to empty your spit into a big old trash can they had out there, which was fun. It was not that fun to do, but it was just an interesting thing that we had to do with COVID.
Pride still does it.
What?
Pride still does it just because the sheer amount of horns that you have in there at one time, when the brass is in the band room, they still empty it into the trash cans in
Yeah.
the hallways.
Yeah. If you don't know band, normally in a without a COVID situation, brass instruments just empty the spit valve on the carpet, and that sounds really gross because it is really gross. So don't ever like put your hands on the carpet in a band room.
Never eat off of it.
No, like
Ever.
it's so gross. Like people who aren't band kids like really cringe at the fact that we
Hey,
just
we just don't tell them.
that's
They'll
the
just
thing.
they'll never know.
They'll never know. Like
What are the stains on the carpet? I don't know. Probably somebody spilled orange juice.
yeah,
Nobody knows.
who knows? But we know it's spit valve. So, anyways, yeah. So that was quite an interesting experience. That entire sophomore year, where we had to wear masks the whole time. We did. They called it synchronous and asynchronous learning, which was in person and online learning, half and half. That was a fun experience, I guess. And so we got through that, and it was all in all still a pretty good year, honestly, with all of the COVID limitations that happened. It was still pretty good. Like, we still got to do a lot of things that a lot of people didn't get to do.
Still at a Pride show.
Still had a Pride show, a tiny one, but still had one. So it was, we can say it was all bad, but honestly, we had it fairly good, all things considered. So
It was a normal school year with a couple tweaks.
yeah. And so that went by, and we go into our junior year of high school. Me and Chase both make it into the top band at Broken Arrow, and we also start playing in the jazz bands at Broken Arrow.
You were in the jazz band.
I was in the jazz
year.
band my sophomore year, which was really fun. And then
Yeah.
you joined our
I was
junior
not
year.
sure that I wanted to do it yet, so I stayed in the extracurricular jazz band for one more year.
Yeah.
But junior year, I joined Jazz One, the official jazz band.
Yeah, the official jazz band of Broken Arrow. So we were back in full swing doing wind ensemble, which was the top band program, and jazz band back to back. They were first and second hour.
There's a lot of band.
It is a lot of band. But I would say that year was when our friendship really started growing again, since we were spending so much time with each other again in bands and doing other things too. You know, playing in wind ensemble and jazz band was really fun, of course, and we loved doing that. It's a great experience to be doing that at Broken Arrow. But one of our favorite things that we did starting our junior year is we played in the show choir band. At Broken Arrow, show choir is also a pretty big thing. Like, they go out and win competitions and do a lot of great stuff.
It's getting almost as big as the band, the
Yeah.
marching band.
It's growing, and it's getting better and better and better every year. And
As far as show choir goes, it's probably equally as big as the marching band.
yeah, that's true. Thinking about it proportionally. Yeah. So it's pretty big there. And one of the really fun things is that they need a band. They have a live band that plays with them. And so me and Chase both got the opportunity to play in that band, which was so much fun. So much fun to play in.
Really cool, considering that most show choirs either play with a recorded backing track, just one that they play over the speakers, or they hire a bunch of professionals. They contract a bunch of people to come in and play for them. And our school was one of the few schools that actually took the band program and incorporated it into the choir program.
The thing that is great about the Broken Arrow show choir program is that they have really great show designers as well as great show arrangers that make the show. They make a really great show first, and then they have an arranger that arranges really great horn parts for us to play in the show choir band, which they call it the combo band at Broken Arrow. So playing in the combo band is not only like just fun to play with a show choir, but they also write really great parts for us to play that really propel the show itself to
Some
the
of the
next
most
level.
fun music I've played my entire music career.
Yeah, some really, really great memories of that, because another great thing about being in the combo band is they take you to all the stuff for free. You don't have to pay to be in it.
You pay for food.
You
Other
pay,
than that,
pay for food while you're there, but like the show choir goes to like 3 or 4 competitions, and then they go to a big competition that's like a big trip. They go to Los Angeles, Chicago, and New York usually. Those are the big ones that they go to. So every year they have a big old trip that they go on that the combo band gets to go on for free, which is really awesome. So we get to do that. We get to play some really fun music. Some of my favorite memories of high school is going to those show choir competitions, and just playing our hearts out at those killer shows that they had us play. Like it was really fun. We would always like go and win the best band category that they have there, and the show choir would usually win like the entire thing, depending on which competition we go to.
They won a lot of them.
They won a lot. They won a lot of awards. So the show choir was really top notch, and having us, the combo band, with them really brought it to the next level. And it was just a really great production to be a part of. Great music, great memories. We get to go to some high school in like Kansas or some high school in Arkansas and spend the whole day there playing these shows, hanging out with all of our friends, and, you know, having a great time. Like long nights for sure, but great experiences. The thing with these competitions is that there's multiple show choirs at Broken Arrow. There's 3 of them, and we have to play for each of them. They each have their own show, which is like, you know, 5 or 6 big tunes that we'd have to learn. And so all 3 of these show choirs would be going to this competition, and they'd each be playing at different times of the day. And then they would have the finals after all the show choirs went. And usually 1 or 2 of the show choirs from Broken Arrow would make it onto finals, which means we have usually 4 or 5 performances in that day, which is a lot. But they're really fun, you know. They're like, you know, 14-hour days from start to the end. Usually they're long days, but like just chock full of great memories and fun times the entire way.
Some of my favorite memories of being in the combo, or as we lovingly call it, the Velociraptor Squad, was we were actually in a hotel room with 2 of my friends, and we had they had tennis balls for whatever reason, and we had taken the liner out of the ice bucket that they give you at hotels, and we had set it on one of the beds. I don't remember how we started playing this, but...
Because, you know, throw ball into bucket. That's how.
It's like Ooga Booga Caveman Brain said, play basketball with a tennis ball and a hotel ice bucket. And so for hours... I probably,
we mean hours.
3 straight
hours, for sure.
We were just, you know, we would invent different ways to do it. At one point, you know, I think one of us was just chucking it at the other person, and they'd have to try to catch it with the bucket. You know, I think we played a version of knockout. You know, whoever could make it, but
some kind of horse.
It was fun because like the tennis ball would not go in the bucket; it would bounce out. It would lip out. I was the rim king because every time I would throw it, it would get close, hit the rim, and go out.
Yep, every time.
Every
without
time.
fail. And that was just in the hotel rooms on the big trips. One of my favorite combo memories is our senior year. We went to this big old high school where there's a 4th floor. We were situated on the 3rd floor. That's where like our homerooms were. That's where they would store all of the show choir kids with all their costumes and stuff. But right on the floor above us, which we probably weren't supposed to go to.
Oh, we definitely weren't supposed to.
We definitely weren't supposed to go to. But the thing is,
we got busted.
Did we get busted?
Yes, because, or at least the chaperone came looking, and we bolted.
Okay,
we bolted out of there.
We'll get to that in a second. But the thing is, how do they expect us to not go up the stairs if the stairs are literally right next to our room?
Well,
like, you can't expect that to not happen. They didn't even try to block off the stairs. So I'm not saying we should have gone, but what do they expect? Like, so anyways.
A bunch of high schoolers from 20 plus schools.
with hours of free time on their hands. That's the other thing.
Specifically BA kids who
Yeah.
are notoriously curious.
And so we go up to this fourth floor, and we find this huge lecture hall. It's got to be
It's
like
probably a medium-sized lecture hall. It was very far back. It wasn't as tall as it was
Yeah.
deep.
Yeah. It's like if you think of a college lecture hall, it's about a medium-sized one. But it went very far deep, like you said. And we had like 5 hours of free time on our hands. And so we played a fun game called hide and seek in the dark with with a ball that we would throw at each other to try and get each other out.
It's like a silicone ball.
Yeah, like one of those, dumb little balls that they give you.
Was it a ball? I thought it was like it was a brain.
It was a brain.
It was a foam brain.
It was like a foam brain, but I don't know where it came from. And so we played this game where we would turn all the lights out in this giant room, and the seeker would normal hide and seek, but it's dark, and so we would crawl around on the floor in between all of the chairs and the desks. And
on the desks.
On the desks, yeah. And the goal of the game was to be as silent as you could, and the seeker had to use their ears to try and find you.
I don't think we started with the brain, did we?
I don't know.
I think we started
the thing is, the game evolved over the 5 hours that we were in that room. But it started as hide and seek in the dark, and we did that for hours upon hours. It was so much fun. It was me and you and like 3 other people that we
There
trusted.
were so many variations of the game. Whenever
Yeah.
we'd get bored, we'd make a new one.
Yeah, we'd make a new rule to play.
It was like freeze tag, and then
Yeah.
hide and go seek, and then
And
you had to
people
make rules with like not going out. I think at one point I even it was a little too easy to see at one point. So I tried, whenever I was seeking, I tried holding my phone full brightness up to my face, and I couldn't see anything. So I actually did have to rely fully on ears.
And you remember what I did to you?
Yeah, you got within 3 feet in front of me, and I still couldn't see you.
I got as close to you as I am right now and scared you because you couldn't see me at all.
Scared the crap out of me because I couldn't
so much
see
fun.
my own hand in front of my face.
It was so funny.
And you had given up. I had taken so long to try to find one of you that you had just popped up in front of me.
Yep, it was awesome. It was a fun moment. As the hours went on, we got more and more ballsy with it, and so we would start getting up on the tables and running across them and things like that to avoid the seeker.
And when getting out depends on the aim of the tagger chucking a foam brain at you, it's kind of easy to avoid.
Yeah. The funnest parts were though when the seeker would walk right next to you in your aisle and you're sitting there under a desk trying to be as silent as you could, and it was
I almost got stepped on.
Yeah, so many things could have happened. We could have got stepped on.
Yeah, because our we had Concert Black on as well. That was what made it particularly hard, is because our uniform for combo was Concert Black. So in a dark room, you couldn't see us.
Couldn't see anything. So it was really fun to play, and we played that for hours.
Until the chaperone started looking for where we were, and then we bolted.
Yep. So, fun story about this place is that we heard that the chaperone was on the prowl. We would say that, chaperone's on the prowl. Mm-hmm. He's looking for us. And so he would be looking for us, or we'd get word from other members of the combo that he was looking for kids, trying to round us up. And so we got out of that room. We actually left the building on the outside to our plan was to go down to the first floor and exit the building so that we were on the outside of the building, and then walk all the way around from the back, which is where we were, to the front where all of the outdoor food trucks were, so we could blend in, walk in, and pretend that we were there the whole time.
We were just getting food from the food truck.
Yeah, we were just hanging out outside.
What do you mean you didn't see us? You must have missed us.
Yeah, in this giant crowd. You must have missed us in the big crowd out here and all the other band kids that are out there. Mm-hmm. So we did that and got back in, and we actually saw him there, I think, pretty quickly after we got back integrated into the safe area that we were supposed to be in. We saw him, and we were like, yeah, we were here the whole time.
And asking us where the other people were. And we didn't actually know because we hadn't seen them in several
5
hours.
Because we were up playing hide and seek in the dark. So that was a fun trip. We had a lot of fun doing that. That was like some of the finest memories, I would say, of high school and just, school in general are all tied to band for me, really. I don't think many people are going to be like, my favorite part was history class,
No.
But
the 1C I had in high school.
Yeah. We definitely have a lot of great memories from band.
I definitely agree. Most of the memories that I have, and especially the best ones, came from my time in band. And, it's kind of, most of my friends also came from band. I didn't really have any friends outside of that. I enjoyed band so much in high school that, I decided I wanted to keep doing it in college, at least for a little bit, to find some new friends, get involved, and just keep making music, which, I definitely enjoy doing. And, we're still playing in the jazz band now, and I don't know about you, but I'm really enjoying that.
Yeah, it's really fun to continue playing. I like playing in the jazz bands. I like just playing my trombone.
I'm back on Barry.
Yeah,
I'm
on
having
Barry.
Fun. And that's kind of been the journey of our friendship from band to band. Band's kind of been the tying factor, the constant throughout our friendship through middle school, high school, and even now in college.
Yeah, all 8 years. And now we live together and make a podcast together.
And are making a podcast together, which hopefully you guys are enjoying. We're going to try to make this a weekly update, depending on, our availability and whatnot. But
yeah,
I think every Saturday is going to be what we shoot for.
Yeah, we'll try. We'll see how it goes. Stay tuned for the next episode because we have some very special plans for the next one.
Potentially even some new people. Well, thank you guys so much for listening. I hope you did enjoy this episode. Be sure to follow us on Spotify and wherever you're listening to your podcasts, on YouTube and or Apple Podcasts.
We got it everywhere. You have no excuse to not listen to it.
Exactly. So once again, thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
Bye. Wait, it's time for the gag reel. Let's take a swig. Get off your phone. We're recording.
You're taking a swig. I don't want to hear it.
All right, clap sync. Ready? I was waiting for you to nod this time.
No.
You're not
going to get a nod.
I'm never going to get a nod. Okay. Clap sync. An alarm? Seriously? What was that alarm for?
The Gathering, I think.
Oh, that thing you were going to go to tonight that you're not going to.
No, that's actually a different thing.
Oh, a different thing. Okay. Chase's schedule is kind of confusing to me. I have no idea what he's doing at any time,
Are
really.
you putting this in the BTS?
Well, this is definitely BTS. The alarm went off. It ruined this little bit. Hello, BTS. We love you.
Are you doing another after the episode?
Yes. The gag reel is a staple of college conversation.
Yes, but I think you should wait and do a blooper episode if you want to do that.
No, I'm doing it my way.
Okay.
This is my little thing that I get to do. The show that they have is a very good show, first of all, and that... Oh, crap. My battery's dying.
Oh, no.
Oh, my God.
Gonna lose the recording. Gotta find a cord now.
Yeah, I got it. All right, the computer is plugged back in. That would have been really bad.
Yeah.
That would not have been
Where's
good.
the rest of the recording? I don't know.
Why is half the podcast gone?
You have to just redo the podcast from my recording. You can only hear your voice through my.
That'd be awful. Only hearing your voice the entire time?
That'd be great.
No, that would just... I don't know what I would do,
Put
man.
you right to sleep.
No, I would be awake all night. It would keep me up all
I am
night.
the voice of your nightmares.
Yep, 100%.
I am what keeps Jake up at night.
I don't know.
It's all you now.
Yeah.
You started it.
Oh, boy. It's late, guys.
No, don't end it
We're
like
recording this
that.
a little late.
Sun's
I'm
getting real
tired.
low, big guy.
Yeah. It's been a long day.
Cool.
Perfect.
Wait.
Wait.
What?
Wait,
Oh.
what are you doing? Clap sync. Come on. You gotta do the clap sync.
Here, I'll give you a nod.
Give me a nod. Okay.
There's your nod.
Yeah. A little preemptive nod for me.
Yay.
Clap sync.